There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. So, yeah.
No question. I mean, no question. It's that simple.
Well, that's just one of a number of things. One is that she wants to ban fracking, and that's going to drive up energy costs for all Americans. When she was running back then, she said she wanted to eliminate private health insurance for Americans. Right. But she wants to give free health care to illegal immigrants. She went and actually worked to bail out criminals in the United States, but makes it easier for illegal immigrant criminals to stay here. So she's had all these policies, and it's cumulative damage that she's done to this country. Prices up 20%, 10 million illegal immigrants into this country, including members of criminal cartels, drug dealers, people on the terrorist watch list. That's why we need to get Donald Trump and J.D. Vance into the White House and a full Republican Senate and House to help them get the country together and back on track.
Here's J.D. Vance was on Fox this morning, and here's his take on what he saw last night with her interview. Roll that.
I felt a little bad for her because it was clear that she wasn't totally sure-footed and she didn't totally know why she was saying the things that she was saying. She's been coached to pretend to be a moderate. Unfortunately, guys, she's governed as a San Francisco liberal, and because of it, Americans are poorer, the world is more chaotic, and our border is wide open.
I mean, specifically on fracking, clearly the reason that she's willing to actually distort what she said or make up stuff that she said in the 2020 debate is because she wants Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania does very well with fracking. The people like fracking. Even the Democratic senator likes fracking. But the point is her past has been definitively against fracking. I mean, it's just clearly a political move, right?
Yeah, she need them votes, man.
Yeah, I definitely think...
She said, get the people what they want.
I definitely think it's valid to call her out on all her flip-flopping. All she's done is flip-flop this whole election.
I wanted to know, what is fracking exactly?
It's drilling.
It's drilling. It's drilling.
But, yeah, that's why they had that thing at the bottom that said Harris war on oil.
Fracking,
I knew it was something.
Fracking is pure drilling.
So, you know what's crazy, though?
Offshore fracking.
I have some people out here that will say that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden did pretty good with oil.
No, they used up all our national reserves. Our national reserves are depleted and empty.
Yeah, and then
they did that in the first year of their presidency.
So fracking right now is not banned, right?
No.
Well, they kind of stopped it, I thought.
Sanctions on it, I think.
Because you remember that one man that was working.
They were trying to ban it.
They've definitely imposed sanctions on fracking.
Because you remember that's why that one man, the Asian man that took us to the airport one time, he lost his job because of the energy production company.
That might be actually one of the most woke stances it is.
I thought the new Green Deal Act was to get rid of oil and make people drive more electric cars.
See, that's buying into
That was the new Green Deal. That was the purpose of the new Green Deal, of the climate change people.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's buying into the climate change people. That's another super woke policy.
It's extremely.
Like, you almost are saying that, we need all electric cars.
You know what I think? That's going to be a deciding factor that hurts Kamala. Because Obama, he was pretty left. He's for the gay marriage. He's for a lot of these things. But I think Kamala's even further left than he was.
Duh.
So I feel like a lot of the people that are Democrats may not be so far left, or maybe people that aren't like necessarily self-identify as Democrats. Like the swing voters. What do they call them? Y'all know what I mean. Those people, the independent voters, the people who are like, I don't know. That's gonna
independent.
Yeah. So right here it says the Biden administration made it clear that they wanted no more drilling on federal land, but they failed to deliver as they have approved thousands of new oil and gas drilling permits. But it says,
let me guess, for other foreign entities for them to make bread, huh?
Yeah.
Don't say that. I'm gonna get more hot.
Shortly after taking office, they announced a pause on new oil and gas lease sales.
So she's trying to stop $1 trillion industry, basically. Let's just stop $1 trillion industry.
There's too much money in lobbying. That's why she's trying to be the president, and she came out and said she's not going to do that. If you want to win the presidency, you think you're going to stop a $1 billion business like that? Shit, no. There's way too much money in it. She's trying to make money for the Democrat Party. Therefore, when the lobbyists and the billionaires and people that make money in the industry put money behind the campaign, they're going to put money behind the campaign that's going to continue to make them money. That's why both of them say, I'm opposed to fracking when they're trying to get the liberals. But when it comes down to it, are they actually going to do it? No.
See, and the thing is, people don't realize oil and gas isn't just like cars and things. It's plastics. It's all these materials we use. Like it's so much deeper than that. Like we would have to change so much.
It's literally everything.
If so, it's like a slow thing that's got to happen over time.
Economically, that doesn't make sense. But then also that would cause a lot of jobs to be lost.
Look at this.
It's just not
that would
realistic.
Be a whole
it's not realistic.
Look at
it's
this.
almost like talking about reparations.
Look, it says the industry fought back in court against the White House leasing pause, which essentially had blocked the Biden's executive order that temporarily paused new leases. I told you, it's too much money in that for them to let that happen. It's way too much money.
The most fracking, and didn't they shut down a fracking oil rig in El Paso or something?
They shut down a lot of
Odessa.
them.
Oh, Odessa.
I remember you said that. I remember that Asian man said he lost his job because of that stuff.
Because of
it was energy. That energy is oil and other stuff. That's all. I thought. I might be wrong, y'all, but I thought energy is with oil and all the. That's in nuclear.
It says Biden's ban on public land fracking would have cost the economy $670 billion in 20 years. You think they about to let that happen? No. Yeah. That's why Kamala was like, oh.
That's why she's switching up her policies,
boy.
Man.
It's
way too much money, man.
But the fact that she threatened to do it and now she's flip flopping should let you know that this woman is gonna just say what she needs to say to get elected.
So if we were in the classroom, right, and I'll tell you why you should not vote for Kamala Harris. She's a liar. How? This is how I tell you. Exhibit A. She told you Joe Biden was healthy, ready to go this whole time. She said she was for fracking. 2 lies, blatant evidence. Take all emotion out of it. Those are 2 blatant lies right there. Boom.
She's also
we got so many lies.
She's also said as the guy on the right here. As the guy on the right here, who's that? John Barrasso. She also said illegal immigrants are not criminals, and she's in favor of them to come in this country and receive free health care. She said everyone in this country, no matter immigration status, should receive free health care. That's as extreme as it gets, guys. There's no such thing as free in a capitalist society. Somebody somewhere is paying for that. Use your brains.
She said we should talk about it.
Well,
the conversation should be had.
There's no such thing as free,
conversation should be had.
Yeah, it's literally just a woke agenda. Not fracking. It's literally just a woke agenda.
I just don't understand why people assume that like fracking.
It's like, no upside on that.
There's no. What's the alternative?
Positive. It's literally not one positive.
What's the alternative?
I think the only positive is
there is no alternative right now.
Yeah, it's for the climate change people. That's
exactly what it's for.
That's the only thing it's for.
Oh yeah, I know.
Bro, you know, I realized how far they take the climate change stuff. When I realized people are like vegetarians and autotarians because of climate change. I thought it was mostly because of animals.
Yeah,
it's also because of the climate.
Yeah,
because they said the dead animals are bad for the environment and all these things. I'm like,
the industry.
Damn,
they say the industry's polluting stuff and all that stuff.
Like these people will drive an electric car, not eat no meat, all this stuff, but then riding planes and all like.
No, when me and Taj were like getting in the Uber in LA,
some people trying to stop
the Uber
remember
driver.
The cement? They put their hand in the cement for the planes.
No,
that's what I knew.
On the plane runway.
Whoa. No, listen. When we were in LA in the Uber, our Uber driver was like, "Oh, I think they should have a more substantial way to do meat. They should still chill out on the meat industry."
She said we should ban it.
She said we should ban it. And guess what? She was like, "I'm a trans dude." I was like, "Oh, this is as LA as it gets right here."
It definitely is stuff in the meat and all these processed foods that are bad for American people. So it definitely needs to be something. To do
for
with
sure.
That.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you get grass-fed meat, like people have said, like the carnivore diet has like healed diseases and all types of things. That's what Jordan Peterson.
Oh yeah,
said.
We need that, but we're not getting that.
Yeah, but you can get that though. You can choose.
Just go to the store and buy it.
You got to know where you get it from. It's grass-fed. You got to make sure you get grass-fed.
You can do research on the companies that produce the meat. They put their thing on it, and you can go do your research.
Like the meals we eat was that. I ain't gonna shout them out because they ain't want to give us no deal.
There's companies. There's companies you can reach out to. Like you can order meat from services, and they'll like send you super organic,
grass-fed.
Yeah, super organic meat. Like
this cow came.
It's so many alternatives.
Dallas, Texas.
It's so many alternatives to like stuff you can get at the store.
Or
like,
you can just buy a whole cow,
bro. There's a way.
Get it cut up.
You can do it yourself.
Like people drink raw milk. Unfiltered milk.
I would not do that.
I don't know if I trust that. I personally don't even like drinking milk
like
in
disease.
general.
I love chocolate milk, but I stopped drinking it because they said it increased inflammation.
Oh, I'm lactose. That's why I don't drink that much milk.
Well, yeah, we do have to do fracking safely though, because it does say without safety regards, fracking can lead to poison water.
Well, yeah, that's why.
But there's definitely
that's why they're high-paid jobs and people who are doing these things and in charge of that. They paid a lot.
There's regulations in place.
Your ass is great.
Yeah.
You know what?
There's regulations.
Only thing I can see why people probably be woke about is like, remember the big old oil spill that happened in the Gulf?
That was an accident. That was an accident.
But like that's some things they'll put in their argument.
That was bad.
Because like when that happened,
I went to South Padre that year, and we were like paragliding, and you could look over in the Gulf, and you could see like the water turn black from oil. You could literally see it.
No, yeah, it was
insane.
bad.
I'm gonna keep it 100. You see like the water right now in Galveston still affected.
No, the water in Galveston is gross because Galveston is a fracking city. There's offshore drilling over there. That's why the water's disgusting.
Well, and it's in the Gulf.
Well, yeah, and they're drilling.
Like even Louisiana, the water don't look clean on the Gulf.
They're drilling. Louisiana is an oil city.
No, it does pollute
It's
the
not
water.
like Florida. It's not like open water.
They're drilling.
It does pollute the water probably.
They're drilling.
100%.
Of course.
Yeah, but I mean, but as far as
It's
it, like
plenty of
releasing toxins into the air and shit, like I mean,
there's probably some of that too. Have you
Yeah,
ever seen an oil rig? It's like
either
smoke
way,
that goes
our
up in the air.
economy
But
will not be
Elon
ran
said
good.
that we could take 100x, 100 times, or what do you say, 10x, as
Then
much
let's leave
as
it at that then.
population and all the stuff we've been doing now.
Either way, we can't do it no matter.
Like he
if
even
it's
said,
good or not.
like he on that topic. I hate to quote the man all the time, but I'm just saying he's smart. He know about these things. He sells electric cars. He said we can slowly transition there. Like yes, this is the thing they are doing, but it's not at the rate that the climate change people are making it like it is.
Well, they think the Earth's not supposed to have no type of weather right now. That's how the climate change people think. It's a hurricane. It's climate
They said global
change.
warming. I ain't gonna lie,
It's
this was the
hot.
coolest summer. Last summer I felt like was so much hotter.
I agree.
Oh,
Last
yeah.
summer I remember
agree.
like it was specifically I'll go outside and be like, what is going? And then this summer like
It wasn't that bad. You're right.
There was
'cause last summer-
days that was hot to the summer, but it was like I don't know. It wasn't
last summer was
It was
I don't know what
115
Dude,
out here.
last summer it would be like 10 p.m. and it would still be 100 degrees.
Sweat.
Let's hear
It
the
would be
man.
bad.
Joining us right now is former Republican presidential candidate and Trump campaign surrogate Vivek Ramaswamy. Thank you so much for coming, and it's good to see you. So the campaign memo also makes clear that part of the strategy right now is to continue to try to define Kamala Harris as extreme and radical. If you take a look inside this new polling from CNN of likely voters in these battleground states, though, what likely voters are saying is that is not yet working. Showing the way we see it, the way the numbers show it is showing voters largely describe Harris's views and policies as mainstream and Trump's as too extreme across these states. About half in each state saying Trump's views and policies are so extreme they pose a threat to the country, while around 4 in 10 say the same about Harris's position. A lot of numbers, but the point being is if voters don't agree with the extreme
among likely voters.
This is CNN.
It's probably all women.
A lot of numbers, but the point being is if voters.
They're saying Trump has more
Radical point.
Oh, hell no.
It's because it's because the media, bro. It's how they portray him. Hitler, these words, when actually the policies are more normal.
Do you know what it is that is influencing this? Project 2025.
Yeah, it is.
That's why somebody.
Trump and JD Vance have already said there's no federal ban on abortion coming. The way where abortion is right now is where it's going to stay. They've come out in favor of IVF. They've come out in favor of women's reproductive rights. They've come out in favor of a lot of things, but you don't really see the media coverage on that because they're trying to push a narrative. They're trying to get Kamala Harris elected because there's so much money on the Democrat side, and that's what's funding these networks. That's what's funding all this stuff. So
The woke agenda has money.
it's billions of dollars.
I'm just trying to figure out how is he so extreme where we're literally watching illegal immigrants in multiple states robbing and taking people homes, and they're getting incentivized and getting free insurance and getting out of jail for doing this.
He said it, bro.
Man, I can't wait to see
It's the
what
media.
Vivek-
Let's let Vivek say to say.
Yeah.
But let's really think about it. The man got shot. They flipped that on a Republican and said that he
that
got
was
shot
pure propaganda.
because the Republican knows what's going on now. He's just scared because Donald Trump's going to be a dictator. So if they can flip that,
That's insanity.
that's why these numbers are like that.
But the point being is if voters don't agree with the extreme narrative against Trump, do you think Team Trump should be shifting now against Harris? Sorry.
I actually disagree. I respectfully disagree with your characterization there in one important way, which is that voters have not yet been exposed, principally via the media, to what Kamala Harris's past positions actually are. I don't blame the voters. They've been served up a new version of Kamala Harris where she is running to the center on economic and social policies. But the reality is, if we're able to use Kamala Harris's own words against her, as I believe we should, she ran for president favoring an tax on unrealized capital gains, favoring an abolition, her words, to abolish private health insurance, a ban on fracking, bans on offshore drilling. These are the kinds of policies that absolutely are not mainstream for most Americans. And this is where I do think the debate will be useful. I do think that greater media scrutiny of Kamala Harris, hopefully with more sit-down interviews than we've had so far, will be helpful. Say what you will, you may or may not agree with Donald Trump. He and J.D. Vance have sat for tens of interviews, as have other members of the campaign and surrogate team. The reality is we haven't seen the same from Kamala Harris. I do expect that's going to change in the next couple of months, and I believe voters are going to be very well informed heading into November.
Vivek, but on banning private health insurance, she has said she does not believe that, and she does not believe that now. On banning fracking, she has made clear, and she did in the interview with Dana Bash, that she does not support that anymore. If evolving, or
so
call it what you want, flip-flopping, you can call it what you want. No, but one second.
That's what it is.
One second.
I can't leave that hanging. I can't leave that hanging on policy, if I may.
I understand, but I'm going to ask the question, then you can totally answer. She said very clearly that now is no. Those are not her positions. If evolving on an issue, if evolving on a position, you can even call it flip-flopping on an issue. If that is now not allowed, if that should be, the death knell to a campaign, Donald Trump's got issues there.
What?
So look, the reality is Donald Trump's been clear about his policy positions. With Kamala Harris, I want to be specific about this, though. Actions speak louder than words. When let's you brought up some claims about Kamala Harris. I want to finish that discussion. She said she didn't favor a ban on fracking now. The reality is she was one of the strongest proponents of that ban, so much so that when she was in California, she sued the Obama administration over granting fracking permits.
Wow.
She didn't just favor the abolition of private health insurance. She was a co-sponsor of the bill with Bernie Sanders as a U.S. Senator for Medicare for All for Americans.
A computer.
The reality is, when you think about the Green New Deal, she was the chief proponent, not just as a co-sponsor of the legislation, but going further and saying she would end the filibuster in the Senate to ram that through. So the reality is she can say what she wants to say now. Those are actions she has taken. Is someone allowed to evolve? Of course they are. But she deserves to explain exactly why she's changed those positions, exactly what her position is. If it's not a ban on fracking, what exactly is it? What exactly is her healthcare plan if she no longer favors abolishing private health insurance?
She looks
which
done.
Just 4 short years ago when she ran for president, she did. And that's the kind of scrutiny that's been missing. I think Donald Trump has received plenty of scrutiny, and I give credit to him for sitting for hostile interviews that Kamala Harris has not. But the American people and the American electorate deserve a rich policy debate that they have not had.
And it gets to be, I guess it will be for the voters to decide how long of kind of an expiration date there is on when something is still your position, or if you believe them now on what they're saying on their position. Voters get to decide. She's said that her position has evolved on that. Is it okay for candidates to evolve on a position over a period of years?
I think it's perfectly acceptable. I think most people need to rethink their positions over time as facts change. But they deserve to explain to the people clearly what she has failed to do. And it's not just a change in position. These are hard positions on which she has actually taken policy action, both as a vice president, an attorney general, and a U.S. senator. And simply saying she doesn't believe that anymore is not a sufficient explanation on core issues that affect costs for Americans, health care for Americans, taxation for Americans, including taxes on unrealized gains, on which she has not yet changed her position. That, I think, is a devastating economic policy that's among those she needs to explain.
On positions that candidates seem to be struggling on, Donald Trump continues to be struggling on stating a clear position on abortion and reproductive rights. Last week, he was asked his position on a Florida ballot initiative he will be voting on to overturn the 6-week ban in Florida. And the way he responded to the question was 6 weeks is too short. I'm going to be voting that we need more than 6 weeks. The next day, he said that he will then, though, support the 6-week ban. Why is he struggling to state a clear position on abortion then?
So again, I respectfully disagree with your characterization there about him struggling to state a position. The truth of the matter is Donald Trump has been crystal clear that, first of all, this is an issue for the states.
And that is an issue that he's going to be voting on in the state of Florida, right?
Well, first of all, in his capacity for running for U.S. president, what he's running for Kamala Harris against, he has been clear that he is against a federal ban on abortion. Now, on the Florida bill, which I want to address as well, there is a difference between being opposed to a 6-week ban, which he's been consistent on, both during the campaign when I ran against him, as well as throughout, that he's against a 6-week ban, that is different than what this ballot measure accomplishes. And I know you know that, Kate. This ballot measure, through its vague crafting, would allow abortions far after 6 weeks, arguably under the interpretation of some legal scholars, all the way up to the point of birth. He's against that, and that's been a consistent position as well. So I do think this attempt by Democrats in its politics, so you'd expect it, to conflate an opposition to a 6-week ban with somehow being in favor of a ballot measure that actually would allow for far more than that, is, I think, sophistry. And the job of voters, I hope they do it,
That's a big
is
word.
to see through that, even if it's served up to the media. You can't conflate those two things, and I don't think that's an inconsistency, with all due respect.
Things you also can't conflate is on the issue of, and I've heard this time and again, of accusing, of saying that Democrats and putting this on Kamala Harris's, saying that they're going to be able to, as you mentioned, up to the point of birth or execute a baby after birth. That you do agree that is illegal in all states. That's not an issue.
Is and should be illegal, except for when you look at the vaguely drafted statutes that are now expanding in these ballot measures. And I think that's the debate we ought to be having in this country, is an honest debate at the state level. And where I give Donald Trump a lot of credit, this was my position during the presidential campaign as well, is that this is an issue for the states in a post-Dobbs world. I think Roe was correctly overturned. I think most Republicans agree on that. This is now an issue for the states. And I know the Democrats want to make this a core issue, but the reality is it's not a presidential issue anymore. It belongs to the states. Kamala Harris has wrongly characterized and wrongfully stated, I think in this case I'd call it an outright lie, saying Donald Trump would sign a federal abortion ban when he's been clear that he's against a federal position on this issue. And I think voters deserve that kind of clarity.
One thing we do also know is that voters, not Democrats, say that abortion is an important issue in this election as well. But as you said, it's for the voters now to decide, and much more to learn after the debate coming up next week. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts on that. Thanks for coming.
Well, damn, hold on, man. My boy Vivek's brain is like a computer. Any question you ask him, he go hit him.
Hold on.
I did not know she was against private insurance. She was against fracking. She was the Green New Deal. They said she would kick down the door for the Green New Deal. She was this far on all three of these policies, and now she's flipped on all those just to get votes. You cannot say she is not. That is
She's
just
a chameleon.
flat out.
Hold on.
She's a chameleon.
I'm gonna crack the code right here. Kamala's able to switch her stance on something that she actually put on paper.
That she put action behind.
Action.
Okay.
She put action behind.
Motion.
She sued the Obama administration.
He finna bring up the Trump.
She signed a bill with Bernie Sanders.
And Trump can't step away from Project 2025, and he didn't even have anything to do with it. Even if he did, he didn't put it in paper.
He did not have anything to do
He had
with it.
nothing to do with it.
No. We seen the undercover video with the Heritage Foundation where they tried to get them and they tried to expose them, and they sat there and said Trump had nothing to do with it. We made these policies because we thought this is what he would want. It was the Heritage Foundation. It was not from the Trump campaign.
No. I thought Trump did say, like, these don't look bad. He at least said
He said,
something.
okay, I don't know what he said. I didn't hear that myself. Maybe that's what he said.
Something about Project 2025, about when we saw the undercover thing when CNN went in and tried to, the reporters tried to get the guy to confess that Trump had something to do with Project 2025. He said that Trump said something at least about it.
No, he didn't. I didn't see that.
He basically said we're trying to get this for Trump. This is what we think he should do.
Yes.
But at the end of the day,
I did not see him say that.
He said Trump probably would like this.
That's what he said. He thought what Trump might like. He kept saying that.
He said we made a thing of what we thought he would like. He
Yes.
never said Trump was involved. He never said Trump stamped him.
So Trump didn't say
said they close friends.
That doesn't sound too bad. He didn't say nothing at all.
No.
I never seen that myself.
Oh, maybe I'm tripping. I thought
Trump came out and said it at a rally.
The only thing I seen he said was we don't got nothing to do with that.
He said that at the rally.
Agenda 47
I would like to
is
say
on
something,
the
though.
campaign
I would
motherfucking
like to say
website.
something,
But why
though.
can't he step back from that, though?
I would like to say
Agenda
something.
47 is on the website.
He didn't do it.
I would like to say something though.
It's propaganda.
Based on what Vivek did here, I love the way that he coolly and calmly and articulately debunked this lady.
Extremely
and she was stuttering. You see, she kept looking down at her notes.
That's what Dana did.
They gave her a
Tulsi.
script. They gave her a script of what to say. She kept looking down like what.
As soon as they get cooked, they look down.
No, she got cooked, and I really don't see how you could watch Vivek say this and debunk all this crap and these narratives with literal factual evidence of real life events and proponents of things that went down and still try to deny the facts here.
They're not listening,
being
bro.
willfully
He's a
ignorant,
Nazi.
and you're just voting. You're purely voting on not Trump, and that's not a policy. That's not what's going to make
Straight
America better.
vibes.
That's not what's going to push our future forward. And it's truly just not a way of being an informed voter, because if the woman that you're voting for has flip-flopped on all her policies and went against all her actions and things that she built to get in the position that she's in now, how can you trust what she's saying she's going to do in the White House? Obviously, she's doing that because these are billion-dollar industries that she's trying to corrupt, and they're lobbying against it. And now, since she knows that if she were to continue down this path, she won't be elected, so she's doing things in favor of election. How can you as a voter believe that she's going to do things in favor of your political interest when she's already flip-flopped on that?
It's easy. Project 2025.
I'm just
It's easy.
It's because it don't matter at all, y'all.
It's the propaganda.
It's all about
it boils down to lies and propaganda.
Not being a that.
No, it's literally that's what it is.
He's not a that.
This video is actually insane.
That was excellent.
This is the second time in 2 days we've seen CNN get debunked and cooked. This is the second time.
And then you know what's funny? Because I thought for a second, whenever she brought up the Florida bill thing, I was like, ooh, what is Vivek going to say? He said, actually, bam, debunked. That bill is going to be for longer than 6 weeks. That's why he said he's not voting for it when he figured out the fact.
I can't believe Trump can't step away something.
That's a good explanation.
He's
that
not
was a
even
good question.
involved in. He can't step away from something he's not involved in.
He can't. All he can do is plead his case. He already said multiple times that is not our thing.
But Kamala, you can't. So you can't evolve. Nigga, can Trump evolve? Can anybody?
Bro, you talking about step away from? How could he step away from something he was never stepped up to?
Bro,
he didn't have nothing to do with it.
They act like
that's what you got to tell these people.
CNN,
when they say these things, you say look on the Trump campaign website. It has the facts. Agenda 47. There wasn't no stepping away from it. He never had nothing to do with it. They went undercover and they tried to question the people who made it, and they flat out said they ain't got nothing to do with it. That is evidence. That is evidence on video.
The media to Trump is like his crazy. He have a crazy baby mama that he can't see his kids. And the baby mama.
She made that look horrible. He be beating me. He don't be feeding them. They come home diapers dirty.
He don't do shit for you all.
I can't believe this shit, y'all. We can't make this shit up, guys.